My person is generally curious and makes a name for herself in spite of the surrounding world. She genuinely does not need to be free because she doesn't understand what freedom even is, but she'll work for it even if it's not something that she prioritizes. My person is someone who genuinely actually cares about being herself in spite of what she doesn't know about herself, which doesn't matter anyways, because as long as she's endeavoring to prove it on herself for the end of time, it will be worth it in the long run, and it will be worth it even in the meantime. She lives in the moment. She lives for the past and the future, in spite of not needing to worry about living too much in the past, while still looking towards the future, while still being in the present. My person is curious. They are somewhat sexually driven, but they are at least still being themselves. And finally, they are very, very adventurous. They know how to be inspiring. They know how to be, again, once again, curious. And most importantly, they never give up on themselves or anyone else they care about. I'm still big on the idea of soul paced cultivation. It isn't so much the same thing as being someone who never has to know anything about their life or anything about anything the Buddhist way, or even being too absolute with things that happen to be what they could be and unnegotiable for the facts and examples and figures and all that, statistics. But I think I did take a route that was very unconventional and flexible. I didn't have to, but it was still there. I never, for the longest time, I complained about never getting to do anything in my life that I actually wanted to do because I didn't even realize I was transparent in that life. So it was very weird to live like this. And I never had to notice that there was a lot of blessings and disguises in their own wake how I lived this life. And it's very interesting because I think I actually genuinely did not know that I was cultivating a person from the inside that was going to live probably one of the better lives I could ever have imagined. Taking this long of a leap to actually finally, like, not so much start my life, but actually really thankfully get the clarity to understand what's really going on with me a little bit more, having that shadow work for me and actually knowing what's really happening. Now, not necessarily knowing who I am, more so or less, but not necessarily needing to find out who I really am before my 30s, but having to be that kind of person who just knows that's worth it without needing to know why and would never give up on himself. Because let's face it, when I look for like all those kinds of like characters in like fiction, like these ones in the video that resemble who I think of myself, it's not by mistake. I think I look too hard for answers I already have inside. I don't have to do that kind of thing. It sounds very vague and unexample given, but if you have ever explored that part of your life before, you know what I mean by this. So it's just it takes a lot of time to really assemble yourself if you've grown up like me and you never really knew what was going on, but what you were doing instead. And usually people are the other way around. There'll usually be people like uh, who don't have to know what they're doing, but still know what's happening in the surrounding realm. I'm probably the exact opposite. Not to mention with my own passions and talents as well. People will often think that your talents are there because you're passionate about them. I had separate parts of those, each individual parts. I was the kind of person who did not have to know what their true passion was, or what they really should have been using their talents for, or if they should use them at all. And it was very awkward to live like that. It was very awkward to grow up with the communication skills I had, the laws and rules trauma, the content trauma, all the other stuff. Not to mention the sexually frustrating parts of it, and then even things about the context that I lacked a lot of times. I didn't. I wish I didn't have to lack. Not necessarily needing closure for everything, but still needing to understand a little bit more. Not so much identity, but having to be the kind of person who cared about being that aware about his own life while still just wanting to still experience, obviously, as well as anyone else. It's interesting. I think I just generally have attraction to normal people. I don't have to be like looking for like meditative states and headquarters and home bases and all that and thinking about what would make sense if I just were okay being a normal person and then being ambitious later. That may be a little procrastinating for that matter, but it is very beautiful the life I'm living. It's just I never really understood it. I get frustrated a lot of times how it feels nihilistic, apathetic, all that stuff. But knowing always deep inside how it was worth it was always different for me. And I don't know how I get to the point of even being not as hard on myself anymore. Definitely not recently. When it comes to how I could easily be frustrated with just generally having to live a life that was still confusing. But there you go. Going forwards, I think I'm going to try to endeavor the things I thought were my passion, including the things I never got to do before, kind of like math and science, all that. I'll still be an artist. I promise I will be. It's part of who I am anyways, whether I like it or not. But there are some parts of the other stuff I like to do, like the Olympic sprinting, the businessman stuff. Again, math and science. I'll still be doing claymations and cartooning, but that's the step in the future. If you like this video, take care. And that might not be an end card, but there's something that was made like a week or two ago. So take care, guys. Not much to add after that, but I just wanted to say this stuff without using the microphone because it was. I do have a laptop mic that's pretty good, but I don't have to use it right now. So hope this audio works though. But that was just what my person's like, what my life story is beautiful for, and what I'll do in the future, going from now in the present, living the moment while remembering the past, present, and future. I love you all, and I even love myself. And together we can do this.